place, somewhere comfortable, somewhere quiet, and find yourself settled down on your mat, moving the flesh of the buttocks out to the side, coming to a comfortable cross-legged position if that works for you, or otherwise taking the legs out straight in front of you, or coming to kneel, whatever works for you this evening. So this evening we're going to work through the whole body. We're going to come through a range of different sequences and series, and focusing across the body, so working into each different area and working as we have been in all of the other weeks, with focusing on moving, using our breath to guide us. So really recognizing where your body is and what your body is doing, and really coming back to the breath in everything that you are doing. So not pushing anything too hard, easing off when you need to ease off, and just listening to your body and responding to what is working for you. I think at the moment things are still not quite back to normal, obviously, and I think just recognizing where you are at the moment and just working with what feels best and most appropriate for you, and just recognizing that time for yourself, taking the next 40-50 minutes just to have a little bit of a breather and a little bit of space and time for yourself. So coming to wherever's comfortable for you, and taking the hands, resting down into the lap or resting onto the knees, just gently closing down the eyes if that's comfortable, or just keeping the gaze softly down beyond the front of the mat, and just taking a moment here, recognizing how the body feels as you come in to your practice this evening. So feeling the breath flowing in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Taking a couple more cleansing breaths, so in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose and out through the mouth, really sighing it out. Breathing now in and out through the nose. Keeping the breath flowing through the nose throughout your practice. Really feeling the breath in the back of the throat, so turning on your Ujjayi breath if you feel you want to. So really breathing through the back of the throat, feeling the sound of the breath in the throat as you use this breath to warm the body and helping focus you through. Okay, we're going to roll over onto our knees, coming through our all fours, and just taking the knees to the width of the mat, taking the toes to touch, sinking back down on the heels. Just going to start where we often start in our extended child's pose, so gazing forward, spreading the fingers wide, and taking the forehead down to the mat, maybe resting on a block or something if it's not comfortable to take the head all the way down, if the heels are lifting. If the seat bones are lifting off the heels, then take some height under the head. Otherwise, taking the head, making contact with the ground, spreading the fingers wide, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Inching forward, but sinking the hips down onto the heels. Feeling that contact with the hips down on the heels. Breathing into it here. From here we're going to come back through our all fours. We're going to plant the hands, Take the knees down underneath the hips, tuck the toes and lift the hips, coming up into our downward facing dog. So dropping the head, chin down towards the chest, pedaling out the feet one at a time. And then slowly we're going to walk the feet to the top of the mat, allowing the head to hang heavy over the legs, maybe holding onto opposite elbows, taking a slight bend in the knees, maybe walking one leg forward, one leg back, working through the backs of the legs, releasing the hands, we're going to roll the body up, coming all the way, head coming up last, to standing, into Tadasana at the front of the mat. So we're going to lift the toes and plant them back down one at a time, lifting the heels and planting them back down, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, gazes forward, palms facing forward. We're going to come straight into our sun salutations, warming up through the whole body. So arms either coming in front or out to the sides, inhaling, gazing up, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips coming onto the mat or hands to shins, gazing forwards with flat back, bending the knees, planting the hands, stepping the right, stepping the left foot back to plank, dropping knees, dropping chin and chest down, inhaling, coming up into our baby cobra, weight out of the hands, planting the hands, tucking the toes, sinking the hips back through child's pose and then coming up into our downward facing dog. And then hold here, maybe the first downward dog of the day, so just taking your time here, stepping out one leg, stepping out the other, chin coming down to the chest, fingers are spread wide, middle fingers facing forwards, rolling the shoulders away from the ears and finding stillness in the legs, sinking the hips back, heels down, and slowly bending the knees, gazing forward, stepping the left, stepping the right to the front of the mat, fingertips on the ground of the shins, looking forward, flat back, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground of the shins, looking forward. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping the right, stepping the left, coming into a high plank. Exhaling, dropping the knees, dropping the chin and the chest down to the ground. Inhaling, coming up, baby cobra, legs are strong, legs are together, no weight in the hands, gazing up. Exhaling, plant the hands, coming through child's pose or straight back into your downward facing dog. Holding here, maybe pedaling out the legs once again, or maybe just finding stillness here, holding for 1, 2, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, 3, 4, and 5. Gazing forward, bending the knees, stepping the left, stepping the right, to flat back, fingertips on the ground or hands on the shins, looking forward, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Inhaling once more, arms coming up, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground of the shins, looking forward. This time jumping back if you wish, or stepping back as before. Planting the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank. From here, either coming as before with the knees, the chest and the chin down, or taking our chaturanga. So bending the elbows and coming down to our chaturanga, and then inhaling either as before into our baby cobra or coming straight up into our upward facing dog. Thighs are lifted, gazes up, but arms are strong. Exhaling, coming back into your downward facing dog, meeting here. Taking rest at any point in your child's pose if you need to. So as a reminder, that's knees coming down, hips coming down to the heels, arms coming down to the side of the legs, forehead resting on the ground, coming here at any stage if you need to throughout the practice. Otherwise, resting in your downward facing dog for a couple more breaths. And then bending through the knees, gazing forward, stepping as before, or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground of the shins, looking forward, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Fourth round, inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground or shins, looking forward. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank. Either dropping here, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Exhaling, inhaling, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, down facing dog. Holding here, remembering to take child's pose where you need for 1, 2, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, really lengthening the breath, remembering to come back to your breath, in and out through the nose. 3, 4, and 5. Gazing forward, bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground or the shins, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Final round, inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to your plank. Either coming knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga as you exhale. Inhaling, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding here. Final 5 for this set. For 1, 2, drawing the kneecaps up to the thighs. Heels are grounding down. Fingertips are spread wide. Take a check where you are, shoulders rolling away from the ears for 4 and 5. Gazing forwards, bending the knees, stepping before jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Okay, a sun salutation B. So taking yourself to the front of the mat if you've drifted. This time we're going to bend the knees as we inhale, coming up through chair pose. So tapping the tailbone, gazing up towards the thumbs, sinking through the hips, shoulders dropping away from the ears. We'll take the first one slowly all together. Inhaling, exhaling, folding forwards. Chin coming down towards the chest. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, hands on the shins, looking forward with a flat back. Exhale, I'm going to plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank. Either dropping knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. This time we're going to turn our left foot in 45 degrees and step our right foot to the front of the mat. Inhaling, arms coming up to our warrior 1. So checking in with your alignment here. So the left foot is turning 45 degrees. The hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Right leg is bent, left leg is strong. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhaling, hands outside that front foot. Stepping the right back to the left. Dropping again, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. This time our right foot turns in. Left foot steps forward. Arms coming up, warrior 1. Again, checking in with your alignment. Hands are up to the sky. Eyes are gazing up to the thumbs. Left leg is bent 45 degrees, right leg is strong. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Exhaling, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank. Dropping knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. We're going to hold here for 1, 2, remembering to take rest in child's pose if you need to. 3, 4, and 5. Gazing forward, bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, bending the knees, arms coming up through our chair pose. Tucking the tailbone, exhaling, hands in front of the heart center. Second round, bending the knees, inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling, hands coming down, forward fold. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground or on the shins, gazing forward, flat back. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping or jumping to the back of the mat. Bending through the elbows or coming down, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Left toes turn in, right foot step forward. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. Exhale, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right toes turn in, left foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior one. Exhaling, hands outside that front foot, step it back through plank, dropping knees, chest, chin. Or chaturanga, inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Holding here for 1, 2, coming back to the breath, slowing it down. 3, 4, and 5. Gazing forward, bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, bending the knees, sweeping the arms up, coming through chair. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Final round, bending the knees. Inhaling, arms coming up through chair. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forward with a flat back. Exhaling, bend the knees, plant the hands, stepping back or jumping down to plank, dropping knees, chest in or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Left toes turn in, right foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior one. Exhaling, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Right toes turn in, left foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior one. Exhaling, hands coming down outside that front foot, dropping back. Inhaling, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Final 5 counts, so holding strong. Remembering to come down into child's pose if you need to. Holding here. For 1, 2, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, bending the knees, arms coming up through chair. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Okay, giving everything a little bit of a shake about if you need. I'm going to come through a few of our standing postures. So taking yourself to the front of the mat, I'm going to take a step to the right, pivoting on that left foot, turning the right foot out to the front. So right foot's facing forward, left foot turning in slightly, hips are facing the long edge of the mat, coming through triangle. So arms coming out to the side, reaching over that front hand, and then dropping the right hand down to the inside of the right leg. Keeping both legs really strong. gazing up towards that top hand for 1, 2, kneecaps pulling up towards the thighs, 3, 4, doesn't matter where that right hand comes to, it might be the inside of the shin, fingertips on the ground or inside of the thigh, and 5, inhaling, coming all the way up, pivoting on that right foot, left foot turns out, gazing for the fingers, reaching for that left hand towards the left side of the room, and then dropping the left hand to the inside of the thigh, the shin, or fingertips on the ground, gazing up to that top hand for 1, 2, steadying the breath, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Pivoting on the feet once again. We're going to take a slightly shorter stance with the feet, hips this time facing the long edge, hips facing the short edge of the mat. We're going to take our right hand to the base of the right hip. Legs are both strong. We're going to take our twisted triangle. So inhaling, left arm coming up to the sky. Exhaling, folding forwards, taking the left hand to the outside of the right foot. It might come down here to a block to allow you to open to that right side, or it might come down onto the ground, maybe taking that right arm up and over, gazing up towards that top hand, keeping both legs really strong for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up, pivoting on the feet, taking the left foot forward, right foot turning out slightly, hips facing the short edge of the mat as the left hand comes to the base of the left hip. Inhaling, right arm up to the sky, exhaling, folding forwards, reaching that right arm down to the outside of the left foot, taking the hand down onto the ground if that's available, or reaching down for a block. Inhaling, left arm coming up to the sky, holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Taking this time a slightly wider stance. So we're going to take that right foot slightly further forward, left foot still turning in slightly. So the right heel is lining up with the left instep. We're going to take a bend in that right leg this time. So we've got a 45-degree angle in that front thigh. Just watching that front knee doesn't overshoot the ankle. So if it's too far forward, just take that foot a step forwards, coming into our extended side angle. So arms coming out to the sides, hips are facing the long edge of the mat, left kneecap is pulling up to the thigh. And take our right hand down to the right knee. Inhaling, left arm coming up and over. If that's very comfortable, you can take that right hand to the inside of the right foot, taking the gaze underneath that left armpit, holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming up, pivoting on the feet, coming straight onto the other side. Left elbow to left knee, right arm coming up and over the ear. So you're looking for a straight line between that right outside foot and the right fingers. Maybe taking the left hand down to the inside of the left foot, gazing underneath that right armpit for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Pivoting on the feet once again, we're going to drop that left knee down to the mat. If it's not comfortable on that left knee, you can take the mat folded over on itself and untucking that back left foot. I'm going to come into our revolve triangle. So taking the left arm up, taking the left arm over that right knee, coming down onto the ground, right arm coming up to the sky. You can then, if you want, take that left foot up, so the left knee comes off the ground, taking the gaze up towards that right hand. So there's a few different variations here. For the moment, we're on the ball of that left foot. Exhaling, hand coming down, taking that right foot back to the ground, coming all the way back up, pivoting on the feet. So dropping the right knee down onto the ground, right arm coming up and taking the right elbow over that left foot. Maybe staying here, taking the arm up to the sky, or tucking that right hand, tucking the right toe, taking the foot and the knee up off the ground, opening the chest to the left side, taking the gaze underneath that left armpit. For 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up, stepping off to the front of the mat. Taking the feet together once again, coming back to standing, refocusing, recalibrating. We're going to take the weight into the left foot as we step off again with the right. So taking a slightly wider stance this time, coming into our wide-legged forward fold. So taking the feet slightly so they're turning the toes inwards. We're going to inhale, take the arms out to the side. Exhale, we're going to fold forward, taking the hands down to the inside of the feet. So we're looking for a straight line between the feet and the hands. You can come here onto a block, wherever that's comfortable. You might take it up here so that your back stays nice and flat. Wherever it's comfortable for you, keeping the legs working, kneecaps are pulling up towards the thighs. If you're very flexible here, you can take the feet even closer together. So your hands are coming down further, starting to bend the elbows, dropping the chin down towards the chest. Holding here and then taking the hands over towards that right foot. So we're going to take hold of the right ankle with the left hand, opening the chest towards the right and then taking that right hand up to the sky, coming into a twist. Opening the body to the right, gazing up towards that right hand. Exhaling, coming back down, taking the right hand out to the outside of the left ankle, left arm coming up to the sky. Taking a twist to the left. Legs are still working, kneecaps pulling up towards the thighs. Exhaling, hands coming down, back to the centre, dropping the chin down towards the chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. Then inhaling, taking the hands onto the hips, exhaling here, then inhaling, coming all the way up, stepping or jumping the feet back together. So coming here into a few standing poses. So we're going to take the weight into the left foot, taking the right foot into the inside of the left ankle, coming into a tree. So either taking the foot to the inside of the ankle, the inside of the shin, or bringing the right leg up to the inside of the left thigh. So holding here, taking the hands together in front of the heart center, or maybe taking the arms up above the head, maybe spreading the arms out wide like the branches of a tree. Up to you. We're going to hold here for 1, 2, finding a point of focus, something that isn't moving, keeping that focus, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. 3, if you want to really challenge your balance, you can close down the eyes. 4, and 5. Exhaling, hands coming back down in front of the heart center. the left, taking the weight into the right foot, left foot coming to the inside of the ankle, inside of the shin, bringing that left foot up into the thigh, holding your focus, taking the feet, grounding down through that right foot, taking the hands together in front of the heart center, holding here, maybe taking the arms up above the head, out to the sides, for 1, 2, 3, if you've fallen out, come straight back in, 4, and 5, exhaling, hands coming back down in front of the heart center, dropping that left foot down to meet the right. Inhaling, taking the arms up above the head, exhaling, folding forward, releasing through the spine, dropping the chin down towards the chest. Allowing the head to just hang, maybe bending the knees slightly, holding on to opposite elbows, maybe swaying slightly from side to side. Gently releasing the elbows, rolling up slightly through the spine, coming back to standing. So we're going to take here a standing, an arm balance posture. So we're going to start, so we're working here into our glutes. We're going to come into a standing pigeon. So we're going to take the weight into the left foot. I'm going to take the right foot on top of the left, flexing through the right toes. We're going to start to bend that left knee. So you might already feel this waking up that right glute. So it might be enough to stay here. That's absolutely fine. Working into that right glute here. It's quite strong. So taking the left knee down, keeping the right toes curled. If it's comfortable here, you can start to work the hands down onto the mat. Again, it might be enough to stay here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can keep the hands completely flat on the ground and start to pivot the weight forward. So the right shin is coming to rest like a shelf on those both biceps, and the right toes are curling around that left bicep. And you're starting to take that left foot up off the ground, maybe even straightening the left foot up to the sky, coming into our standing pigeon. So different levels depending on where you are, having a play with it. So coming into where's comfortable for you, and then coming out when you've had a bit of a play. You come onto the other side. So coming onto the other side, taking the weight into the right foot, and we'll talk it through again. So bending through that right foot, left foot is bent with the ankle over the top of that right knee. You might be able to see it slightly differently on the other side. So it might be enough to stay here. It's quite strong in that left glute. Sitting down further into that left glute, if that's available to you, and starting to take the hands down onto the mat. Again, it might be enough to stay here, or keeping the left toes curled, keeping that left shin across both biceps. We're going to start to take the body forwards, forming a shelf with that left leg, and then starting to take the right leg up, coming forwards, keeping a point of focus, stretching that right leg, and then coming down when you're ready. Having a play, keep practicing, and in time you might get to be a little bit closer to the ground or a little bit higher up with that leg. Let's inhale, take the arms up above the head, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank, dropping knees to chin or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to step or jump all the way through to seated. Coming to sit with the legs out long in front of you. We're going to take a few seated forward folds to release through the spine. So taking the left leg out in front of you, and take the right foot in towards the left thigh, and then inhaling, elongating the spine, exhaling, coming forwards into our Janu Shavasana. Keeping the gaze over that front toe, elongating through the spine, and exhaling, bending the elbows, coming forwards. If it's not quite available to reach the foot, you can take a belt, allowing to keep the back nice and flat, and then folding forwards. Inhaling when you're ready, coming onto the other side. Taking the right leg out long in front of you, left foot in towards the right thigh. Inhaling, elongating the spine. Exhaling, folding forwards. Keeping the breath nice and long. Keeping the spine nice and straight. Really releasing here, releasing through the back of that front leg. And then inhaling, coming all the way up. Taking the right leg this time. So the foot is flat on the ground. Just going to take a spinal twist. So taking the right foot to the, so it's bent up towards the groin. We're going to take the right hand behind us, left arm coming up, exhaling, taking the left hand over that right hip, and then taking the gaze behind the right shoulder, keeping the left leg really strong. You can take that right foot over the top of that left leg if you want a little bit more of a stretch in the spine. Holding here, gazing just behind the body, and then inhaling, coming back to the centre, taking that right leg out in front, taking the left foot up towards the groin, either keeping that foot to the inside of the left knee, or if it's comfortable, taking the left foot over the top of that right thigh. Inhaling, right hand coming up. Exhaling, opening the spine round to the left, keeping that right foot flexed towards you, keeping the spine nice and long, gazing over that left shoulder. And then inhaling, coming back to the centre. We're going to come down now onto our backs. Hugging the knees in towards the chest, rolling slightly from side to side, just massaging out the lower spine on the mat. And then taking the left leg out in front of you. We're going to take hold of the left big toe, if that's available to you. And then we're going to straighten that right foot up, the right leg up to the sky, keeping the right leg nice and straight, keeping the back of the head down on the ground, pressing the left hand into the left thigh. If it's not quite available to reach for that toe, you can take the belt around that front foot, that top foot, and use the belt to draw that foot closer towards the head. From here, whether you've got the belt or the big toe, we're going to keep that leg nice and straight. I'm going to open the leg out to the side, keeping that left hand pressing down onto the left thigh, really using the right leg to open through the hips, opening the inside of that right thigh, and then inhaling, going back to the center, drawing that foot closer to the head, and once again opening through the back of the leg, and then exhaling, releasing down. If you need to readjust yourself so that you make sure that you've got space, then do so. Get this a little bit. So then inhaling, taking the left fingers around the left big toe, keeping the right hand down on the right hip, holding that left foot up towards you, keeping that left leg as straight as you can. So we're in a one-legged raise on the floor. And then slowly taking that left foot, slowly taking that left foot out to the side. Come on the other way. Slowly taking that left foot out to the side and holding it there, keeping the right hand pressing in to the right thigh, keeping that left leg really strong. Keeping the right toes curling up towards you. And then inhaling, coming back to the center, taking either hands around the shin or keeping it on the foot, drawing the leg up towards you, and then exhaling, releasing that leg down to the mat. Coming down to a few final closing postures, so we're going to bend the knees, drawing the knees up towards the chest, rolling slightly side to side. I'm going to take our happy baby, so taking the hands to the outside blades of the feet, so drawing the hands through between the knees and taking hold of the outside of the feet, drawing the knees down towards the ground, keeping the back of the head on the mat, using the weight of the hands and the feet to draw the hips down towards the ground, maybe closing the eyes here. Allowing the breath to really steady. Inhaling, coming back to the center, drawing the knees into the chest and keeping hold of the right knee as the left foot comes out long in front of you, coming into that easy spinal twist. So taking the outside of the right knee with the left hand coming out to the side. If you're short on space, you can bend that right elbow, bringing a cactus arm with the palm facing up. Taking the right knee over the side of the body, taking the gaze over to that right hand. If that right shoulder starts to lift up, just easing off slightly with the knee, allowing that shoulder to stay planted down on the ground. And inhaling, coming back to the center, squeezing that right knee in, taking the right leg out long in front of you, bending through the left knee, taking hold of the left knee with the right hand, taking the left hand out to the side, taking the left knee across the body, taking the gaze across the left hand, keeping that left shoulder pressing down into the ground. Maybe closing down the eyes here if that feels comfortable. Inhaling, coming back to the centre, squeezing that knee in towards the chest, then taking both legs out long in front of you, taking any final movements that you want to take before coming to rest down in our Shavasana. So just drawing the tailbone down, drawing the shoulders down underneath the body, moving anything out from the side so the hands and feet aren't touching anything other than the mat or the floor. And allowing the breathing to settle. So taking a moment here in your Shavasana, allowing the mind to be completely empty, free from distraction. Allowing the energy to run through the body, running into all of those areas that have been working. Taking the awareness down in towards the feet and the ankles, softening through the joints there, allowing the feet to splay out to the sides. And taking the energy, taking the awareness up through the legs into the hips, allowing them to open down equally into the mat. The energy and the awareness rising up through the torso, reaching all of those vital organs, directing the blood flow and the breath to those parts. Reaching up through the torso, down in through the shoulders, down into the hands, the wrists. Feeling the fingers just gently curling in towards the palms. And taking the awareness up into the neck, jaw, the face, allowing the muscles of the mouth, the eyes, the forehead just to soften and release, not holding any tension there. Maybe just recognizing any tingling sensations on the skin, feeling how awake the body feels. Slowly starting to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, bring a bit of life back into the body. When you're ready, just rolling over onto your right side, taking a couple of breaths here. In your own time, gently easing yourself back up to a comfortable cross-legged position, taking the legs out long in front of you, coming to kneel, whatever works for you. Just taking a moment here, the eyes can remain closed or gaze and focus just gently beyond the top of the mat. When you're ready, drawing the hands up together in front of the heart center. Bring the palms together, generating some heat between the palms, and placing the hands gently over the eyes, feeling the darkness behind the eyes. And opening the eyes behind the hands. When you're ready, taking the hands back down into heart center. Namaste, everybody. Thank you. As always, if you have any thoughts, comments, feedback, questions, anything at all, do send us a message. And